Hello, folks. Welcome back. Today, I'm taking a look at Pest, a light in the dark. Now, we're just got it mostly for the thumbnail, so let's get that out of the way.
Light in the Dark is a solo game that is set in the world of Pest. Now, Pest is a crowdfunding project that I backed not too long ago. I've actually just backed like a expansion for it and a big box expansion for it, so hopefully we'll be seeing that. I don't know if we'll be seeing that this year or not with all the stuff going on, but we'll be seeing that soon, hopefully early next year or this year perhaps. Pest is a really unique kind of worker placement game. This is completely different. It's a completely different experience, and in fact, it really kind of expands on the world. So in the regular Pest game, there aren't giants or really any combat at all. There's no combat at all. Whereas this is mostly combat. It's exploration and combat, and the goal of this is to kind of delve. So you've got to go through the countryside, curing towns, and finding more herbs and stuff to create more cures. You also have to fight all of these creatures, and we've got a variety of creatures we're going to talk about in just a second, all kind of leading towards finding this boss. And once you find the boss, you've got to defeat it. You've got a certain amount of time in which to do this, and as you go, you've got other little side quests and objectives to do. At the end, you sort of measure how you did. Like, even if you win, you sort of measure how you did in terms of difficulty, and try to achieve a little better and better result each time. For example, I won last time, but I won by so little it was just kind of lame, and really I should just strive for more. Whatever ever want more. Alright, and with all that, I'm going to show you how to play this game. I'm going to give you a review, and there's time codes down below so you can skip to the part that you want to see the most. What you shouldn't skip, however, is the like button. Go ahead and click like if you like good, concise videos that describe games that you might be interested in. Let's move on. This is sort of an overview, and the perspective is a little strange on here. I apologize. It's sort of a close-up of the map so you can see it, and a kind of a close-up of these cards too. We're going to take a closer look at this in just a second, but this is my overview, kind of all-in-one view to explain things. The game of Pest that you're looking at now is one that's been played for, in fact, this is my finished game. I just kind of left all the tiles up. All of this, of course, has been reset to kind of give you examples of things, and so I can explain the game. When you first set up this game, you're going to go through your tiles, and there's a couple of tiles that have this icon on them. You're gonna pick one of those. You're gonna find all of those, shuffle them up, pick one at random, and that's your starting tile. The other ones just kind of get shuffled back into your pile of tiles. But somewhere in your pile of tiles is going to be the boss's den, and what you're going to do is you're going to take that out and other tiles from the pile, shuffle them all together, and then you're going to put all of those face down, of course, on the bottom of the draw pile. So the bottom 5 tiles all have potential to be the end game boss tiles, so you can find that boss that you're questing after. And that is really the ultimate goal. The game ends after you've killed this boss, or after you've been killed, that is. And here's a close look at your player board. When you do your initial setup, you're going to draw. You can either pick at random, or you can choose which of these plague doctors that you would like to play as. There's some crowns here at the top. This is their renown. It's their points, basically. And this is so after you win a game, there's no point in if you lose a game, you just lose it, right? But if you win, you can see if you can win by how much you won, right? And these crowns kind of decide like how difficult it is. So you're going to get these crowns and points at the end of the game if you win. So this guy being the most difficult to play with, and this guy being maybe the easiest to play with. And you can tell because these are the starting spaces for all the stats for them. So this guy's got very low stats compared to this guy, of course, right? I think that's a pretty easy concept to get. The guy I played with is sort of middle of the road. I like it middle of the road. Also, with these cards at the top, I'm starting to drift just a little bit. But these cards at the top here, what their purpose is, do I have another angle? Let's see. Yeah. What their purpose is these kind of provide objectives that you're supposed to fulfill as the game goes on. When the game starts, your little turn token is going to start right there. And you're going to go through your phases. So you've got, hopefully you can see this, but it's got little feet here, right? So you're going to move. So you get your move. Your move value is going to be determined right here. This guy's move value starts at 3. Put these back up. So he'd move as 3. Let's say he was here, 1, 2, 3, right? Very simple concept. Okay. So you can do that, and then you get optional actions. Now there's a bunch of different optional actions, and they're kind of like all the other things you might want to do on your turn. That's what an optional action is. And after you go through and you do these things, each time you go, you're going to move your little square up. This card really is just for you to help keep track of what's going on. Sometimes if you might want to stop and think and strategize, you might lose track of where you're at. So this is just to help you remember, yeah, I did a turn there. So you do your 3 turns, and then the enemies are going to get a turn. And all the enemies will all move towards you if they're able to and attack you. What this bottom row is indicating here is, and this token here, is that when you do encounter an enemy, what you're going to do is you're going to take this token, you're going to slide it here to kind of indicate how many hit points they have. So you guys will do a fight. The way a fight works is really simple, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that maybe in a little bit because I want to get all the way down to the stats and stuff, right? So you're going to use this to kind of indicate where the enemy's health is during a fight. Okay, I'm just going to park it right there. The enemy moves and attacks. Basically, that's what it does on its phase, and then it kind of will go all the way back, and then this will go up, and so on. So it goes all through here. You have to accomplish these goals within the phase, like before this little time tracker moves out. This particular goal here is to kill bad guys. This little cross swords is sort of the universal symbol for all the different bad folks that you'll encounter in the game. In fact, there's 4 different kinds, and there's 4 different types and a boss that you'll encounter in the game. They're represented by these icons, these little circular wooden chits. And we'll go over that in a second when we get to this card here. But yeah, what they want you to do is they want you to kill 3 of these baddies. And if you do that, you can get 2 of those renown points for the end of the game. It's really hard to get these points. So you want to kind of get everything you want. These here are pretty easy to get. It is randomized. There's a couple of different versions of this. You can see it says starting right here. So there's another starting one. So what is it? 2. There's another starting one. Okay. So it looks like you got 3 different optional things. So what I do when I do this is I'll get all the starting ones, I'll kind of shuffle it up, and I'll pick one at random, okay? And you have those options, of course, for the middle and the end. So that's how you get your little side quests, and that sort of rounds out some of your strategy, too. Not getting this point here, right? When I did it, I got almost nothing on this. I just beat the boss right away. I should have maybe lingered around. I was worried about multiplying all the enemies and them catching up to me, but ultimately I won the game, but I didn't do very well. Like, I won it at a very low level, like probably the lowest level you could do and still call it a victory. It's a very kind of a middling victory. So yeah, you definitely want to get these objectives when you can, if you want to really do well in the game. I was kind of happy to survive it, but we'll go over like a little bit more in the review part. As we move down to your hero, you can see they all have different. The only difference really is their starting values. This is an herb. You'll use these herbs to cure towns. You'll see an icon on the map that looks like this. If you see this little icon on there, that means that town is sick and you can't move through it. Do we have any sick towns nearby? Yeah, when you go to lay the tile down, you'll see a little icon like that, and you'll put the little house down on top of it. And basically what that means is that your fellow won't be able to move through there without spending one of those herbs. But once you spend that herb, you get to remove this town, and then you're free to move through there to your heart's content. And that's why we get these herbs. Movement, of course, is how many of those little nodes on the map you're able to move. You can get quite fast, and that's handy because you are sort of working against the clock here. You'll only get 3 moves before this thing moves up again, so it's good that if you're able to make it go up. And I'll show you how you do that in a second. The last one is combat. Combat is super simple. You are going to roll 2 dice, and your enemy's going to roll 2 dice. So you're in a fight. You're going to encounter one of your enemies. That kind of brings us to our last card here. So here on the card, you can see here's the universal symbol for enemies. We've got wolves, we've got bandits, we've got giants, and we've got cultists. Okay, and also down here we've got very similar stats that we saw on our board. So this will determine like how much health they have, how far they move, and how well they fight. Of course, the wolves are the weakest. They got 1s across the board. These guys are a little bit different. They got 2s all down the board. Oh, I sleeve these things, and it's just made them incredibly slick. So now they're just going to go everywhere every time I barely touch them. Okay, anytime you end up adjacent to an enemy, you're going to end up in combat with that enemy, and this is the way the combat works. You've got 2 dice. You need to decide ahead of time. This is what the game comes with. It comes with 2 black dice and 2 white dice. Or at least my copy came with that. You got to decide ahead of time if you're the black dice or the white dice. I tried to do a playthrough of this, and I kept switching which dice I was. Like, I tried to do the Plague Doctor as the white dice, but for some reason it just felt wrong. Or something subconsciously kept triggering, and I kept switching them, so it was very frustrating. And I decided just to leave that one alone. Alright, so our Plague Doctor are the white dice, and the giant is the black dice. Let's fight him. Ooh, so our Plague Doctor is at 9, but he's not just at 9, he's at 9 plus his combat value, which is 1. So he's got a combat value of 1. Sometimes another asymmetrical value that's different on these that I forgot to mention is that I think they all have a different ability when they fight someone. And if it had been this guy, for instance, he would have another +1 up here for that giant. He doesn't have that. He's just got this +1. So he's at 11. This one goes to 11. And our giant here, he's got 4, 5, 6. And then he also has a +2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are clearly well above him. And we just simply remove that giant token, and that would be it. That would be it for the giant. He just gets removed, and we go about our day. Oh, but not exactly. So there is one more thing that happens. When we defeat someone, like when we defeat the giant here, we get this reward. That's what this last little column is here, is the reward you get when you defeat them in combat. So I've defeated a giant, and my health is going to go up 1. And that's kind of how you max out your stats on here, is by defeating the different enemies, and you kind of level up that way. Yeah, but on your turn, you're going to move your turn dial down if you need to, and you're going to go on over, and you're going to move up here. And as you move up to a node that has nothing on the other side, you're going to explore it. So, new card comes out. You're going to take a look at the card. Well, I'll push this down so I can see it. You're going to take a look at the card, and you're going to look at all these little nodes, and you're going to see what's on it. These little houses, They get the little house icon, so you know that that place is sick, and you're going to need to cure them before you move through it. You'll see little icons with a little sack on it. So you put one of these little sacks there to let you know that there are items there for you to find. And then you see these with the enemies. Now, when you see the ones with the enemies, you're going to take this deck of cards, and you're going to draw one, and you're going to put whatever enemy you see there. I've encountered the wolf. So we've got a wolf here. I'm going to do you have a little discard for him too. So you take that little wolf token and you put him there, and then that's where he is. And then the way I've been playing it anyway, you just continue your movement. So if you end my movement right here next to the wolf means there'll be a combat. Let's do a little fight. Let's do one more little fight. We just did it. We did a little fight. We did one fight. This is how fast they are. All right. The other thing to note, I think that would be like another action. All right. So do another fight. Okay, so I'm the white ones. I have to remember I'm the white ones. And this is the wolf is the black ones. So I've got 4, and the wolf has 5. He has 5 plus 1. So the wolf is at 6, and I am at 4 plus 2. So I am also at 6. Now, when you're tied, you win. That's it. You have to either beat the number or get even with a number, and if you do so, then you win. And when I win versus a wolf, I go up 1 in health, so I'm actually going to go up 1 in health. This little token out on the map would just get removed. And then we'd move on to the next turn. Now, if we look at the turns here, the next turn is going to be the enemy phase. So in the enemy phase, then all the enemies would start moving towards me. And let's see, let me get to where you can see me. So I'm right here. It's kind of hard to see me, right? So I'm right here, but I'm going to look around the map, and all the enemies that are on a road that could possibly get to me will start to move. And like I'm going to look over here, and these guys move. These guys move too, so they'll take the shortest route, which I think. Oh, so they can get to me, but look, that's a dead end right here. There's a lot of dead ends in that game, so you got to look real carefully. Yeah, there's not even a way there. It just kind of goes there and stops. I don't think anyway, does it? Yeah, I think these are both dead ends. So this guy, he can still get to me, but he's got to go the long way. So they're all going down here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then these guys just move 1, so they'll move 1. This guy here, he isn't connected to anything that can get to me, so he just kind of hangs tight. He just stay right where he is. And I do the same all across the map. I'm not going to do it right now, but anything on the map that could feasibly get to me, given enough movement, would get a chance to move. And that is what the enemy phase is. Now, if any of them got next to me, we go back to that fight where we're adding our little pluses and minuses together and each rolling our dice and fighting. At the end of this, it gets reset, of course, back to the top of the round. This moves up. You start losing opportunities to do that. You have to remember, if you do fight a wolf or a giant and kill them, you put your little chip there. You can either move this up each time or add more cubes on there as you wish. So there are a couple more of those optional actions that they talk about right here that move and optional, right? So one thing you can do is you can move and pick up an item. In fact, I've been playing so you move all the way up to the item and kind of stand on it. It gets removed. Here. And then you get to go to the stack of item cards and pick stuff. There's a pretty good list. All of these items are great. You can hold up to 2 of them. Some of them have kind of special properties. For instance, this one is going to have 3 uses. You're going to take one of these little marker cubes and put it down there, and every time you use it, you're going to kind of mark it like that. There's a whole bunch of cool, useful items. Really unique things too. Oh, is that an enemy? Got an enemy kind of snuck in there. Caught him sneaking through our armory. Some of them are really neat, like +2 to the sword, so you can get +2 to your combat. A lot of defensive stuff too that help you do re-rolls and other stuff. Really good cards in there, and nice art too. There's not a whole lot of art in this game. We've got the cards, of course. We've got these. Like, of course, you've got the enemies. They're not all wolves, I promise. We're the giants. Show me a giant. Yeah, forest giants. You don't see any of this stuff in the other Pest game at all. Not at all. So it's kind of interesting to mix those in. Once you do draw that boss card, you're also going to go into your boss deck, and you can shuffle beforehand. You can shuffle it right then if you like a lot of high drama, and pick up your boss card. Then you're going to go to the little boss tokens. They all look like this, and they have little pictures of the different bosses, or you can leave it like that if you want it to be really easy to see. And you go put that on your map, and then he starts taking turns. The boss is going to do two things. One, as soon as he comes out, something happens to you, and that little terrible thing that happens to you is right here. Like, means you're going to lose one of your items. Once your boss spawns and you do this special effect, from then on out, you're going to treat them pretty much like this icon here. So they'll have all the abilities that have accumulated on there. But it can be kind of interesting because late in the game it gets kind of tricky. Maybe you've done well and you've gotten all your stuff leveled up, but the bad guys level up as the game goes on too. So as this moves on and you start to go across things, every time you move across one of these icons here, what it means is you're going to repopulate the map. So over here on the map, every little icon that has one of these little dealy bobbies on it is going to get a brand new enemy. So you're going to go over to your enemy deck and you're going to draw more enemies and you're going to start putting them out onto the icon, and you'll do that for every icon that's out. So late in the game, when you start kind of getting late in the game, kind of out into here, and you start hitting these, it gets really busy on the map really, really fast. The other thing that happens too is as you get past certain marks here, you'll be increasing the enemies overall, and so this is like gives everybody here a plus. So now the enemy is going to get a +1 to their combat, like overall. So now the wolves are a 2, and these guys are a 3 and 3 and 4. So yeah, making these cultists really super scary. And then as time goes on again, there'll be more respawns, and then here's another +1, making this a +2 overall on the combat. So whenever the bad guy, your big boss, does come out, probably towards the end of the game, it's probably going to be out over here someplace, or like over here someplace. More than likely, they're going to have and these are random, like you'll get different kind of things that happen along the way, but more than likely your enemies are going to be kind of beefed up, making your bad guy even worse in terms of defeating it, even more difficult. Now there's a lot of good gear to kind of mitigate all that stuff. A lot of them are things that you're going to use once and then throw away, or maybe use a couple of times and then get rid of. But there's not so much. Like, you kind of get used to the different things, and after a couple of games, you really look forward to seeing the different items. There's kind of like a little 1-page or 2-page spread here, breakdown of all the different items that you can get as you're exploring around in this universe. Yeah, so Pest Light in the Dark. So as a solo game, I thought this was fun. I thought that the price point for this is pretty low, and that's good because there's really not a lot of what I would call expensive components. There's a lot of cards. It's kind of a card game if you think about it. If you think of these terrain cards and all this stuff, I mean, you got cards. These are cards. This is cardboard. So no miniatures or flash or anything, but that keeps it kind of cheap and lets you kind of experience an interesting game. especially solo. So solo games are kind of interesting. There's this real small niche of people that are going to play them. This is really super quick to kind of pull out and play. There's plenty of room in the box to organize this, so it's something that you can pull out pretty quick. It does end up taking up quite a bit of space. In fact, I've pulled back some of the cards just for filming and stuff to kind of show you a little bit better what it looks like. The artwork and stuff for this looks really nice. I have enjoyed playing it. There are some kind of issues that comes up, like if you look around the map. I don't know. I think I've moved things around too much now, but if you look around the map, there's a whole lot of these dead ends. Well, your dude will just get stuck. And in fact, they did come up with a rule for that. And I'm going to do my best I can to remember that it was sort of an errata and a house rule. Maybe they'll include that in the new reprint that they're about to do. But if you do, you come up to a spot, there's a couple of different reasons you can get stuck, right? You're never stuck because you can fight. Like, you're never stuck behind a monster or something. Like, you've got to fight a monster and you can't get around it. You can always roll dice and try to get past it. That thing's going to be resolved until either you're dead or the monster's dead, and then that's the end of the game, right? There are different cards and stuff where you can jump over it and things like that from different items. But anyway, what you can get stuck by, though, are these towns. Like, if there's a town there and you don't have any herbs to give them to cure the town, if you don't have an herb to pick up, like maybe you've picked them all up, maybe you pick them up and use them elsewhere, or there's nothing, just none around, or it could be like here, like, see, he can't go here, so even if this town was cured, he wouldn't be able to go anywhere here, and he can't go anywhere here. This has also been cut off. There's no road right there. It's just a dead end. And it's also a dead end on this side. So there's no... It's probably a little hard to see right there. But this is also a dead end. So there's nowhere to go except back down this way. So here's what they say to do. So let's say you're stuck. All right, so for this example, let's remove this. Let's remove this tile. So you're not able to move past this city because you don't have any herbs and there's nowhere to go get them, so you can't just kind of go off in another way. Let's say that all the other ways are blocked, and you're just stuck. There's no other way to go. What you can do is you draw another terrain tile, and then you put it out on the any available terrain tile on here. So here's an available one, or any available node to connect a terrain tile. So there you go. And then you kind of teleport over to that tile, and then there you are. And then you can continue on along your merry way. There's something, though, that I like to do, and maybe in this scenario it wouldn't work out for me so well, but instead of just teleporting like that, if you get stuck and you don't have an herb and you really want to move through the city or need to move through the city, let's say you actually could go somewhere if he was able to get through there, unlike this dead end. If you go through a city and you don't have an herb to cure it, my house rule that I always play with is that you just take down a health. And in fact, in this, when you take an injury, you can take down a health or you can take down one of your other stats. You don't necessarily chip down the health exclusively. You can pick any of your different stats here to go down. So if you lose battles and stuff, you don't have to necessarily just pick this to go down. You could pick one of these other things. And so that's what I say to do. If you have to go through a town and you've got to, you don't have a leaf to give the townsfolk to make the town feel better, then you get a little sicker or a little bit worn down. So that's just a house rule. That's the way I play it. The errata kind of fixes the situation, but it's something that really frustrated a lot of people, that whole getting stuck thing. There's nothing that stinks worse than trying really hard to play in a game where there's maybe some swingy luck with these dice rolls and stuff, and then getting stuck because you've drawn randomly the wrong cards and just kind of happen to end up in a big loop that goes nowhere. So in short, what do I think about Pest Light in the Dark? I think that this is a terrific little solo game. It's a little quirky, has some issues. You might have to house rule some stuff, to make it make sense to you, but it doesn't cost a whole lot to have the experience, and I think it's a lot of fun. And they're about to redo it. There's a brand new version of this coming out to crowdfunding. I don't have a link to that. If I do, when I get a link to that, I'll put it in the description if I can find it. Okay? And folks, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a good 8 out of 10. This is something I like a lot. I'm going to keep it. It's just small enough to kind of fit in my little cubby hole over here and pull it out for a rainy day where I want to experience a little bit of the pest universe and kind of walk around, fight some giants and wolves and whatnot. Until next time, folks, enjoy your games, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.